alongside as you carry things into mold-infested marsh hall, happen to be a foot taller than you, weigh 50 pounds more than you, and run a heck of a lot faster than you. At least that was the case for me. In the insanity of that day, mistakes happen. Sometimes, some poor individuals don't even get a real bed set. Instead of having a high mattress under which you can store boxes and such, some end up with a sort of stubby frame that barely reaches knee height. Let's just say on that fateful day about 4 years ago, 2 Minnesota boys ended up with a normal tall set, and one particularly sad case from the bayou got stuck in the short man's bed. The worst part of the whole experience for him is it was at perfect sitting height. So therefore, when people would come to spend time in our room, they would constantly use his bed as a prime seat, much to the chagrin of said bayou boy. However, luckily for Tom, he chose to use a very comfortable mattress pad. Now you may be asking yourselves, where in the world is this guy going with this? Well, just give me a minute, and if I have done well, it will all be clear soon. At the beginning of freshman year, Taylor Bragg, an usher today, and myself became friends with our biology TA, Michelle Mann, who was her bridesmaid today. It just so happens that Michelle and her best friend Lauren didn't have many friends. And therefore decided it would be a good idea to start hanging out with freshmen. Of course, Taylor and I were more than willing to make time for two pretty older girls. A lot of the time, we would end up in my room, which was much larger than normal dorms because it had 3 occupants. However, it just so happened that 2 of the occupants, Drake and our surprisingly handsome groom, were football stars, unlike Taylor and I. And as a result, they were always out of the room when we would spend time with Lauren and Michelle. One fateful evening, I chose to sit on the broken futon, Michelle, the stolen office chair, and Taylor, the pencil graffiti-covered desk chair. Lauren, however, she picked that perfectly heighted, stubby little bed, immediately remarking, "This mattress is so comfortable." "Whose bed is this?" "Tom," we answered. She would not meet this Tom for months, all of fall in fact. And therefore, a running joke among us 4, was that he didn't really exist. And that Tom's bed was some sort of mystical, down-cushioned reality. It stood as a fluffy representation of this elusive individual. One spring evening, their paths finally crossed in a particularly romantic Waffle House. It turns out that Louisiana and Texas go well together. And it was clear from all of us, at least to me, that there was some kind of true connection that took place that night. They were both smart Alecs, both witty, and both fiercely independent. An unlikely recipe, I know. However, a few days later, Drake and I noticed Tom was texting this new contact named Tom's Bed. Constantly. And it's to our joy that same relationship sparked in Waffle House. Next to the Waffle House jukebox stands before us today. So Tom and Lauren chose passages from St. Paul's letters to the churches of Rome and Colossae as readings for today. They will be read in their entirety in a short moment, but I will spend the next few moments on one particular aspect of Romans 12, verses 14 through 16. It reads, "Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind to one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble." The scriptures and tradition are full of beautiful expositions of love in the context of friendship, marriage, and the love of God. This short section may seem to be an unlikely candidate for such reflection. However, I argue that these few words may in fact encompass a foundational aspect of love. And more importantly, and most important, the love I hope Tom and Lauren will forge together and live out in the many years to come. The first aspect to notice is love's willingness to offer blessing in return for persecution. We live in an eye for eye, tit for tat, violence for violence world. If one individual or nation is harmed, we naturally don't even allow enough time for grief to run its full course. Instead, we speculate in our personal lives and in the news who is going to pay for this. And the cycle of violence continues. The Christian tradition, however, came and offered an alternative to the world's cycle, blessing in the face of persecution. Christ himself, the founder and perfecter of our faith, took the spit, beatings, humiliations, and lashings without an ounce of retaliation. In fact, he prayed that the perpetrators who knew not what they were doing would be forgiven, and offered grace to the guilty thief hanging beside him. Tom and Lauren, this is the life you have identified with as followers of Christ. When you chose to take up your cross, you surrendered your right to retaliate as others do. How you choose to respond together in the face of suffering and injustice matters, and will reflect on the God you worship. Therefore, let your lives together be lives of constant, consistent blessing, even in the face of tremendous suffering, be it from persecution, illness, or any other sorrow life will throw your way. Second, the life you will lead together will be a life of presence. Your journey will take you from rooms full of grief to the joyful lights, the joyful heights of a life spent in love together. The passage charges us to rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Christ was the ultimate master of presence. He sat with people from all walks of life, in every conceivable circumstance. In those moments, he allowed for himself to be fully engaged with those he sat beside. Feeling compassion for the hungry and sick, crying with the grieving, and even providing choice wine for a wedding.